Welcome to another free tutorial here on YouTube. This one I wanted to focus on some skin tones. I've seen a lot of people who are asking questions on how to get their values and how to make it a little bit more realistic. So we're going to focus a little bit on that. I also wanted to direct you, if you are more interested in pet portraits, go ahead and sign up for my Patreon. And if you thought this tutorial helped you, please subscribe so that you can get more every month. And let's get started. So basically I started out by drawing 3 circles, and we're going to focus on 3 different types of skin. So we are going to start first with our lighter tone skin, more like mine, and then we'll just get a little bit darker on the other 2. So I picked out these colors, and I've got my blush pink, I've got my light peach, I have the terracotta, Tuscan red, and I have cream. Now that doesn't mean that I won't come in and add some light umbers or even some burnt ochres, but we're gonna start out by just layering. So I'm gonna start out with my light peach, and we're gonna give it a nice light base. Now I don't want to really dig at the paper. I don't want to lose the tooth because we're going to be adding more and more layers. And my circles are obviously a little bit crazy and crude. I'm a little bit sketchy when it comes to that, just to make a nice circle. So base out your circle in the light peach. I'm not a big fan of burnishing either, so we probably will not be burnishing at all. So after I get my light peach, I'm going to start with my regular peach, and let's just make it like a ball. We'll just like do partial. So I am using circular motions just so that I don't get like that crazy line, like art. Whenever we get sketchy and start scribbling, we get those crazy lines. This is going to add a little bit more depth into your pieces as well. It's already starting to look more rounded like a ball, even though we're working with skin tones. And I'm not pushing really hard. I'm actually nearly on the side of my pencil, just giving light pressure and working my way around to smooth out my transition from light to a darker. Okay, let's add a little bit of blush pink to this area. Maybe keep it down towards the bottom a little bit. And then let's add some terracotta for some darker values. Like when we get our shadows underneath our chins and, you know, around our eyes, very lightly. We don't want to go in and dig at all. So some terracotta here. And I've done a few people portraits, so terracotta is a nice transition. It's like a reddish brown, and it just has a nice undertone of like the peach. You know, it has like a really good transition from the light to the dark when you use it. So it's already starting to get a little deeper in contrast here. So I'm going to go back over with my light peach, and I'm going to add a little bit more pressure. And we're just going to further blend these areas. We're not burnishing. If you don't know what burnishing is, it's kind of when you force the colors together. You make them mush, and usually we do that with the lighter colors like a white, or you could probably do it with this light peach as well. but that's not our goal. At least not at this stage. And grab your peach, and we'll just go over top of everything that we just did, just to give it further depth. And all of this is really useful, especially when you're doing skin tones, because even though we're just doing like a ball or a circle, you might be able to pick up better on where in your portrait that you see these deeper tones, and it'll just really help your portrait pop out. I'm going to skip adding the pink, and I'm going to go right back to the terracotta. And just still using that light pressure, we're just going to add a little bit more depth. So the trick with the lighter skin is that you allow a lot of the light peach to shine through, and that you just sort of make the values real subtle, unless they're in a really dark light, like a dark lighting situation. So having this shine through more than this is going to give it that illusion that, you know, it's lighter skin. So I have some cream, and I just want to add some cream up in here. This cream is also helpful in this tone of skin. You can even come through, let's grab some light umber. And if you have like a darker area on a face, like maybe under the eyes or cheekbones, we can add a little bit of this light umber just to give it more value. There you go. And that is really helpful. Now I have the Tuscan red. You can even add some of that in there as well, and it blends out nicely as well. There is your light skin tone. Now let's move on to the medium skin tone. So now with the second one, it's more of like a darker skin tone. It's not as light as this, and it's not as dark as this is going to be. So we have our sand, beige, light umber, I have sienna brown, burnt ochre, and terracotta. And we're going to start with a base of beige. So beige is going to be a little bit darker than the light peach. And the cream. So we're going to start out, just base out like we did with the light peach all over with the beige. And you can probably even use some of the beige in this rather than the cream if you have someone who's lighter skinned but needs a little bit darker of a tone, or if you just prefer the beige over the cream. I'm not a big fan of the cream pencil, so okay, so we got our beige. Let's put some sand up here on the top, just a little bit, and then let's start to deepen the values in this wall. So again, I'm using the circular motion. I'm not digging into the paper. I just want to build up that layer to give it a different tonal difference there, tonal value. And we're just doing exactly what we did over here, but with different colors. I'm trying to be careful around my sketchiness because I don't want it to come up into my colored pencils. I don't want that graphite to bleed into or smudge. Okay, so now I want to go in with my, let's go in with terracotta. So terracotta, we're going to be very light like we were on the other side. We're just going to use our circular motion and get a little bit more value in here. And then grab your light umber and let's add a little bit in here where the terracotta is. And really this is just like a blending exercise and to get you used to seeing the colors that are in skin tones. I mean, we can look at different things and different types of people and notice certain colors. I know when I first started doing you know, these portraits and stuff, I couldn't tell the difference between the colors, and once I started doing it, you know, you start seeing colors everywhere and you're like, oh, that's, you know, that's a dark brown, that's a terracotta red. Like now I have the beige again and we're just going to blend like we did before on the other one. I just want to make this tone a little bit darker up here. And then we can blend these colors too with the beige. We're not burnishing, you're just adding a light layer. And then I think I'm going to go now with the burnt ochre. We're just going to deepen this a little bit further. And it's kind of moving along very nice. I like it. Let's push it up here just a little bit further into the top of the, or the middle of the ball, I guess, towards the top. And then actually let's take our sand again and let's add it in the middle of the ball. Just give it an overall layer of sand. There. Let's add a little bit of, let's do a little sienna. Sienna has a little bit of a red like a reddish kind of feel to it, but it blends really well with the burnt ochre and all the other colors that we have down. So yeah, and that is the second skin tone. And then let's get a little bit darker on this one. Okay, for the final one, and it's a bit darker than both of these, so we're going to start out with a little bit darker. We're going to start with some burnt ochre. That is going to be our bottom layer. And we're just going to very lightly add a layer. Once you get all of that, let's add a little bit of beige up here where it's going to be a little lighter. We can lighten that up just a touch, but still keep it dark. And this will blend it really nicely as well. Maybe take it down to the mid-center of the ball. About. And then I'm going to take goldenrod. Goldenrod is one of my favorite colors. If you've ever followed me on any other tutorials, I really like goldenrod a lot. I use it in just about every single one of my portraits. I don't know why, but it's just a fantastic color. I'm going to put it all over the ball. And once you are satisfied with goldenrod, let's put in some light umber. We're going to darken this up a little bit. And we're just going to do a light layer. We're not going really after the light umber look, but I just want that color in there. Kind of tones down the oranginess of the goldenrod. But it keeps it like a nice rich color. So okay, let's add some sienna brown. Again, if you're looking for more in-depth tutorials, you can find me on my Patreon, and that link will be in the description below. I mostly focus on animal portraits. And then if you have any suggestions that you want to tackle here on YouTube, let me know and I can try to help you out. I'd be happy to take suggestions on what you're interested in. Okay, now I have some sepia and we're going to add that darker tonal value down here. We're still not digging at the paper. I'm not burnishing. I just want to add some of this deeper value here. Okay, let's add a little bit of dark brown. Go. You can even further, if you wanted to continue to blend these with like beige, or if you wanted to go in with some sand or even some more goldenrod, it would work. You could just continue to layer if you wanted to, if you feel the need and you just want to practice. Practice always makes us better, so don't feel like you have to stop here. So anyway, thank you again. This was a fun thing for me because I haven't got to do these two on a portrait yet, so it was quite, a bit of a learning experience for me. So I hope that you join me for some more. Next month I will have another free one up, and I hope that you will also join me on my Patreon. Please leave a comment, please follow, subscribe. You can also find me on Facebook, you can find me on Etsy. There are some tutorials on there for sale that are $1 a piece. So hope to see you soon. Enjoy your day.